Folks, welcome here. We're at number 6 Ellsford Terrace, which is the office of one of our august state institutions known as the Standards and Public Office Commission. It's something formed a number of years ago so we could all rest easy in our beds knowing that standards of conduct and politics in Ireland were kept at the highest possible level, and therefore we could be safe that our future and our well-being were being looked after fairly well. So we're here to try to question that, and I suppose what's prompted us to be here is Angela here beside me is in court on the 11th of November down in County Carlow, and she's being charged with offences by this SIPO commission.
Number 1, are the reporting rules the same for all candidates that take part in such elections, or are they different from candidates or political parties? 2, is a candidate of a political party obliged to report in full the benefit they have received through the state funding of their party? 3, why have the party candidates been allowed to advise on all ballot papers, whereas I was not, by inclusion of a logo which has been heavily marketed over many years? 4, is the conduct of fair election in which all candidates contest on equal terms a concern of SIPO? 5, why is the nomination process differently from political candidates than from independents? And 6, if fairness and equality is of concern, how do the current regulations of my prosecution recoil with that?
Folks, I'm going to speak with Stephen Manning, but Stephen, just before, a point I'd forgotten to make is people may be familiar with Bunreacht na Héireann, the state constitution. And just an interesting point of fact, in this, the fundamental law, the book through which all legislation and law in the state is subjected to, or is derived or is subject to, really. Nowhere in this book does it mention the words political party. Nowhere. Yet the electoral laws in the state are written completely in support of the party system. As I said, it funds them. Even the standing orders at a Oireachtas level and in local councils throughout the country are written to favour the political party systems, yet they're not here. And now what we have in Dáil Éireann, we have all these TDs, most of whom are betraying their mandate. But let me tell you what the Bunreacht says should be in Dáil Éireann. It's Article 621, and I quote, Dáil Éireann shall be composed of members who represent constituencies determined by law. That's the end of the quote. The duty of a TD is to represent their constituency, not their party, not kneel down to a party whip. It is to represent their constituency. Now, if a TD wants to represent their constituency, there is something fundamental they need to do. That is, they need to ask the constituents, how do you want to be represented? Tell us what your feelings are and experience.
Yeah, I ran in 3 elections. I ran as a presidential candidate, I ran in the general elections and in the local elections, and I've had many dealings with SIPO. At the end of the day, we need a new election integrity bill, passed really quickly so, fraud doesn't go on and people aren't rigging the process. And I think independents should be given the opportunity to have equal opportunity with the media. Deserve a voice as well, because at the end of the day we want this rotten government out. We've had enough. If we look at the presidential election of 2020 with President Trump, he's always given out about how toxic the whole procedure is. So at the end of the day, when we think of the defence forces or anybody who has special disabilities and they can't vote, for example people in nursing homes, these people deserve to have a voice. This is what democracy is all about. So in my lifetime I would like to see cameras put in where these people are being watched and the public are allowed to watch all the votes being counted, because I know in my heart, soul and spirit, because I'm a President Trump supporter, I would have had lots of defence members voting for me, but I was told only maybe 5 or 6 of them, and I smelt a rat straight away. So that's why I'm here today, and thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you, Sarah Louise. Thank you.
You're welcome.